didn't stumble upon this message by chance. Heaven does not deal in coincidence. When the veil between the natural and the divine begins to thin, it's because God is reaching in. This very moment right now has been etched into the scroll of your life long before you ever knew to seek clarity. You are not late. You are right on time. And heaven has paused everything to speak directly into your spirit. There is a reason your heart has felt unsettled lately. A quiet weight, a tension behind your smiles. You've brushed it off as overthinking. You told yourself, maybe I'm just being too cautious. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But the Most High doesn't whisper without reason. What you've been feeling is not confusion. It's divine intervention rising like smoke before the fire. The Spirit of the living God has been circling you, placing signs like breadcrumbs, hoping you would begin to see what He's been trying to show you. This moment is sacred, a spiritual interruption, not to scare you, but to steady you, because something has lingered too close to your calling. And God says no more. Listen. Feel that stirring deep inside your chest. That's not fear. That's recognition. Your soul already knows this message is for you. That's why you haven't clicked away, why your spirit leaned in before your mind could catch up. Because somewhere in your inner temple, you knew heaven was about to speak. And when God speaks, even time listens. There is a man, not a stranger in the shadows, but someone close, closer than you ever realized. He has walked beside you, worn a familiar smile, said all the right words. And yet behind those eyes, something else has watched you, something that did not come to bless, but to drain. The warning you feel rising now, it's not just a nudge. It's a trumpet. The Most High is sounding the alarm, because your destiny is too precious to be tangled with counterfeit peace. You are God's beloved, marked, appointed, and that appointment comes with protection. But protection only works when discernment is honored. The quiet pauses you felt after conversations, the strange heaviness that came out of nowhere, the way your spirit tightened without explanation, and all of it was the voice of God, pulling at your awareness. Heaven has been patient. But now heaven is stepping in. Do you remember those moments when everything seemed fine, but you still couldn't sleep? When joy should have overflowed, but instead, there was a silence in your chest you couldn't explain. That was not anxiety. That was your spirit in conversation with God, trying to alert you before the damage could root itself. And now God will no longer allow you to walk in that fog. This message is not soft. It is fire wrapped in mercy. The Lord is not simply showing you a truth, He is delivering you through it. He is calling your spirit into awareness because something is being unveiled. Not tomorrow. Now, Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me, and I will answer you, and show you great and unsearchable things you do not know." This moment is one of those things. A hidden truth is rising not to harm, but to heal. And the moment you receive it, your path will begin to clear. Heaven is placing a lamp at your feet, illuminating what your heart has sensed, but your eyes could not yet see. Feel the air around you, thick with weight, with revelation. The voice of the Lord is not faint anymore. It is pressing, powerful, thunderous. And He is saying enough. Your spirit has carried the burden of pretense for long enough. The masquerade ends here. This is not the moment to retreat in fear. This is the moment to lean in. Because what God is revealing is not just about a person, it's about your protection, your preparation, and your promotion. Heaven never strips without rebuilding. And what is coming next will be clarity wrapped in peace, guarded by fire. The divine scroll of your life is turning. A new chapter is being written in ink that cannot fade. And you, beloved, are being called out of confusion and into discernment, into truth, into freedom. This is the divine interruption, the moment where God steps between you and the lie, the moment where the whisper becomes a roar. And just beyond this word, the veil begins to shift. Light will pour through, eyes will open, and the shadow that lingered too close will be cast out, not by your strength, but by the one who walks ahead of you, sword-drawn eyes blazing, declaring, "This one is mine." Now hold steady. The revelation is just beginning, and what you're about to see will make everything you felt make sense. He stood beside you, didn't he? Not behind a locked door or across a distant room, but right there in your circle within reach. His words were warm, his presence calm, his timing perfect. He looked like safety, sounded like reassurance, and yet something never sat still inside you. Something about him rang hollow, even while everything around you said to trust. This man did not announce himself as a threat. No deception rarely does. He arrived like comfort. He entered like peace. But underneath the surface, he studied you. He learned the rhythm of your kindness. He mirrored your speech, your spirit, even your prayers. Not to walk with you, but to walk beside you just long enough to siphon what God had poured into you. What you sensed you didn't imagine. That flicker in your gut and the pause in your spirit after he left the room. It wasn't paranoia. It was prophecy. The Spirit of God was speaking even when your emotions weren't sure how to listen. Heaven does not play with your peace. And when your peace trembles, it's because something nearby does not belong. He was close enough to hear your dreams, but never honored them. Close enough to see your tears, but never truly cared for the weight behind them. He knew what to say to make you lean in. But all the while, he was measuring what he could take before he walked away. You thought his silence was contemplation. It wasn't. It was agreement, silent, private contracts made in the absence of your presence. Conversations held in rooms you were never invited into. And when your name was mentioned, it was not with reverence. It was with convenience. His kindness came dressed in performance. And though his gestures mimicked love, they lacked the weight of commitment. He played two roles, the comforter to your face and the conspirator behind your back. And the Lord, who sees not only hands and feet, but the motives of the heart, has seen it all. Psalm 64 speaks clearly. They shoot from ambush at the innocent. They hold fast to their evil purpose. That's what's been happening around you. Not open warfare, but subtle sabotage. Smiles like weapons, compliments with fangs, encouragement that bends just enough to control. And you, with your open heart and sincere hope, received it because you believed people meant what they said. Don't blame yourself. God never designed you to live guarded. He created you to walk in peace, in faith and love. But what the enemy cannot destroy from the outside, he tries to erode from within. That's why the man was positioned so close, because access is always the strategy before ambush. And yet something never quite clicked, did it? His laughter was a little too well-timed. His apologies a little too polished. His affection arrived exactly when suspicion tried to rise, because he knew how to cover the cracks. But no mask can remain perfect forever, especially not under the heat of divine light. Your spirit picked up what your mind could not prove. That's why you felt emotionally tired after seemingly peaceful moments. That's why you've questioned yourself more after talking with him than before. You didn't lack clarity, you were battling a spirit of confusion that cloaked itself in charm. The enemy hoped you'd silence your intuition. He hoped your need for connection would override your instinct for protection. But heaven would not allow it. And now the Spirit is laying it bare. This man, the one who stood beside your purpose, never intended to build with you. He came to build from you. And when you were emptied, when the well of your grace ran dry, he would have quietly walked away, leaving you wondering if it was all in your head. But God is not mocked. The one who watches over Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. He has seen every move behind the curtain, every crooked motive hidden behind soft eyes, every compliment that came with a hook, every encouragement that was actually a leash. And still you showed mercy. Still you gave the benefit of the doubt. Still you chose to love without proof because that's who you are. But mercy is not meant to be your cage, to be and love was never meant to be your blindfold. God is removing the mask now. He is stripping the disguise and showing you not to humiliate, but to liberate. Because freedom begins when falsehood is named. There will be a moment soon when you see it clearly, when the dots connect, when the heaviness in your chest gives way to understanding. And in that moment, you will not feel shame for not seeing it sooner. You will feel the breath of heaven whispering, "You were never alone. I was guiding you all along. Do not mourn the image that is falling apart. It was never real." What God is revealing now is not just the identity of a man, it is the unveiling of everything that tried to delay your destiny. And once the light touches it, it can no longer linger in your life. Hold steady. The veil is thinning. Your vision is sharpening. And what was once hidden in the fabric of closeness is about to be exposed by the fire of divine truth. You've seen enough to know now something was wrong all along. What once felt like a quiet question inside your chest is now thundering in your spirit with clarity. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a strategy. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still covered. That's not coincidence. That's covenant. You have been protected by a power unseen, defended by a realm untouched by hands. While you wrestled with confusion and weariness, while your heart bent under the pressure of emotional contradiction, heaven was already in motion. There was a war around you that you couldn't see. And you weren't losing, you were being kept. The enemy's tactic was proximity, but God's answer is always presence. His, unshaken, all-knowing, fierce. What this man didn't expect was that your life is not unguarded. He mistook your kindness for access. He mistook your trust for silence. He misjudged who walks with you. But the Almighty does not allow His beloved to be swallowed in secret without raising a banner in the Spirit. And that banner has been raised. Right now, as this message flows over you, something is breaking in the unseen. The cords that once tangled your clarity, the fog that distorted your peace. God is unraveling them strand by strand. He is not just revealing deception, He is pulling you out of it. Archangel Michael himself has stood beside your path with a drawn sword. While you slept through nights of unease, the armies of heaven stood awake, shielding you from what you couldn't name. While you second-guessed your instincts, angels stood between you and destruction. You were never unprotected. You were being fought for. Isaiah 59:19 promises this: when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. That standard has been raised over your life. The flood came quietly. It didn't rush in all at once. It crept in subtly, through smooth words, through affirming glances, through calculated support. The enemy came dressed in calm, not chaos. But the Spirit saw, and the Spirit stood up. This is not just your awakening. This is your rescue. Heaven is not waiting anymore. God is not silent anymore. The curtain is being torn from top to bottom. And what you see on the other side will explain the delays, the confusion, the cycles you couldn't escape. That name, that presence, God is removing it by force. Not because you were too weak to leave, but because He loves you too much to let it stay. You have endured long enough. You've walked with a weight that didn't belong to you. You've wept in the dark over something you couldn't define. You've prayed for peace, but woke up heavier. That wasn't weakness. That was warfare. And now heaven is finishing what you didn't even know had begun. This man wasn't just delaying your joy. He was standing in front of doors meant for your release. His influence cloaked itself in encouragement, but it slowed your steps. His presence posed as support, but it dulled your discernment. The Lord says, I allowed him to remain only long enough for you to grow strong enough to let go. Now the release is here. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual, it's generational. There are blessings on the other side of this revelation that could not arrive until this presence was removed. There are words God wanted to speak, visions He wanted to show you, but He waited. He waited because the wrong voice in the right room can poison the air, and your future is too vital for that contamination. Let the Spirit speak clearly now. This unveiling is not punishment. It is positioning. The mask didn't crack because you accused. It cracked because God declared enough. And when He speaks, every counterfeit must be exposed. You may feel trembling in your heart. Let it tremble. You may feel grief over what you hoped was real. Let it pass, because what's coming after this is not loss, it is alignment. The Lord who formed the stars, who knit your spirit in the secret place, has not brought you this far to confuse you. He has brought you here to cut the cord. And once it is cut, what was blocked will break open. The flood will recede. The light will fill the room. And you, chosen one, will walk forward unchained. Not because you were fearless, but because God was faithful. Hold your ground now. The shaking is not your destruction. It is the sound of heaven breaking open a path that deception tried to hide. You are no longer in the dark. You are no longer bound. You are no longer unsure. You are covered. And your deliverance is unfolding by the will of God, in the timing of God, through the power of God. The rescue has begun. Now that the mask is falling and the truth is rising, the next step isn't survival, it's strategy. Because revelation without wisdom is only half the victory. And heaven doesn't just break chains, it teaches you how to walk once the weight is gone. You've been rescued, yes, but now you're being equipped. Heaven is placing tools in your hands. Divine instruments forged in the fire of discernment, crafted for the days ahead. And these tools will guard your spirit not just from the man who was exposed, but from every counterfeit yet to come. The enemy won't try to return the same way. He'll try new masks, different voices, softer footsteps. That's why now more than ever, you must walk in clarity with a sharpened spirit and a guarded gate. So hear this not as warning, but as instruction, straight from the throne room of wisdom. First, honor the whisper inside. You've learned by now, your spirit speaks before your mind understands. The tightening in your chest, the flicker of unease that passes when certain voices enter the room, the strange fatigue after conversations that should have brought peace. These are not coincidences. They are spiritual signals, divine alerts. When the Holy Spirit nudges you, don't dismiss it as drama or fear. It's direction. Don't wait for the thunder if God is already speaking in the whisper. Second, protect your inner circle like sacred ground. Not everyone who smiles should be seated at your table. And not every kind voice is safe. Jesus himself withdrew from the crowd to pray, and when he went to Gethsemane, he took only 3. Even he understood that destiny demands discretion. Your calling is delicate. Your atmosphere must be clean. Evaluate those who linger. Ask yourself, do they multiply my peace or drain it? Do they celebrate my growth or compete with it? You are not being harsh by guarding your space, you are being holy. Third, let patterns speak louder than promises. Words can lie, patterns never do. Anyone can say I'm sorry. Anyone can say I love you. But what follows? What remains? What's consistent when no one is watching? That's where the truth lives. God doesn't judge by lip service. He inspects the fruit. So should you. Matthew 7:16 says it plainly, you will know them by their fruit, not by their charm, not by their charisma, not even by their knowledge, but by what their presence produces in your life. Watch closely. If pressure follows peace, if confusion chases clarity, if isolation comes wrapped in affection, those are signs. Do not overlook them again. Fourth, guard your emotional energy like a wellspring. Your compassion is not a weakness. It's a gift. But even holy gifts must have boundaries. The enemy does not always come to steal your money. Sometimes he comes to drain your hope, your focus, your joy. He sends people who draw from your kindness but never pour back. People who confuse your giving heart with free access. And before you know it, you're spiritually dry, too tired to discern. Protect your heart from emotional leeches, not because you're unloving, but because you finally understand that love doesn't mean exposure. Fifth, begin every day in the presence of God. When you wake up in the morning, don't check your phone before you check your peace. Don't run into the world before you kneel in the quiet. Even Jesus, God in flesh, rose while it was still dark to seek the Father. If he needed alignment, how much more do we? You don't need an hour. You need intention. One moment of surrender. One verse to anchor your day. One whisper to heaven that says, lead me. Speak to me. Guard me. That moment can shift everything. You've seen now what deception looks like. You felt the sting of proximity to poison. But now wisdom rises in you. You're not just walking out of confusion, you're walking into strategy. Let this be the season where your spirit leads before your emotions do. Where your boundaries are drawn by heaven's wisdom, not by guilt. Where your circle becomes smaller, but safer. Where your mornings are filled with clarity instead of chaos. Let this be the season where your yes is sacred and your no is sealed by peace. You are not the same person who first felt uneasy and said nothing. You are stronger now, wiser, sharper, and more aware of what your soul cannot afford to tolerate. There will still be voices, still be distractions, but now you have discernment as your sword. And when the next counterfeit knocks, it won't find an open door. It will find a warrior clothed in wisdom standing behind the threshold saying, not here, not anymore. You are not just healed, you are armed. You are not just delivered, you are directed. What heaven starts in revelation, it finishes in instruction. And that instruction will preserve your peace, protect your destiny, and prepare the way for what God has truly assigned. Hold this wisdom like fire in your hands. It will light your path and burn away what does not belong. The truth revealed was the beginning, but what you build now with eyes wide open, that is your becoming. Now breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let the weight you've been carrying finally loosen its grip, because this is the moment where everything shifts. You are not losing something. You are gaining sight. And sight once given can never be taken away. What has been revealed was not meant to break you. It was meant to free you. The image you're releasing was never the truth, only a carefully constructed shadow. And God, in His mercy, refused to let you build your future on something hollow. What feels like an ending is actually the sound of chains falling to the ground. The name no longer has power over you. The presence no longer holds authority. The confusion that once clouded your spirit is dissolving like fog under morning light. What remains is clarity. Clean, steady, unshakable clarity. This is where heaven closes the door behind you and opens the path ahead. The truth has done its work. It has exposed, corrected, and cleared the way. Now comes the holy exchange where heaviness is replaced with peace, where sorrow gives way to strength, where betrayal is met with restoration. John 8:32 declares it plainly, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Not confuse you, not wound you, free you. You may feel a mixture of emotions right now. Relief, grief, even a quiet sadness for what you hoped could have been. Let those emotions pass through you, not stay in you. They are visitors, not residents. God is not asking you to deny what you felt. He is asking you to release what no longer serves you. So release it now. Release the questions you'll never get answers to. Release the need to understand every motive. Release the weight of wondering why you didn't see it sooner. You saw it when you were meant to. And heaven confirms this moment as perfect timing. Hear this clearly, you were not deceived because you were weak. You were deceived because you were open-hearted. And God has not closed your heart, He has strengthened its gates. You are still compassionate, still loving, still capable of deep connection. But now you are discerning. Let forgiveness rise not as approval, but as freedom. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was acceptable. It is saying you refuse to be chained to it any longer. When you forgive, the final cord snaps. The enemy loses access. Peace returns to its rightful place. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34:18 says, and He saves those crushed in spirit. If anything inside you feels bruised by this revelation, know this: God is not standing at a distance. He is here mending what was strained, restoring what was drained, and strengthening what was shaken. Picture it now, chains dissolving into light. A scroll in heaven being rolled up, the chapter of confusion complete. Oil poured over your head, not for mourning, but for commissioning. You are stepping into a season where your path is clearer, your steps lighter, and your discernment sharper than it has ever been. The shaking has stopped. The ground beneath you is firm. What lies ahead will not resemble what you just left. God does not remove without replacing. He does not expose without aligning. The connections coming into your life will not require you to shrink, second guess, or explain your intuition. They will honor your peace. They will respect your boundaries. They will walk in the light without hiding behind masks. Psalm 121 promises that He who watches over you neither slumbers nor sleeps. That has always been true. Even when you doubted yourself, even when you felt unsure, even when you questioned your own discernment, God never questioned you. He guarded you. So walk forward now without fear. Walk forward without regret. Walk forward free. The truth has been spoken. The trap is dismantled. The path is clear. And what awaits you is not chaos, but calm. Not confusion, but confidence. Not loss, but alignment. You are not just healed, you are whole. Not just protected, you are positioned. Not just aware, you are awake. And as you step into what God has prepared, let this be the truth that anchors you. Nothing false can follow you into the future He has ordained. That season is closed. This one is blessed. Stand tall. Lift your head. Heaven is with you. And the road ahead is finally clear.